I go by the big bad wolf. Get to a bag, the bitch gonna look. That nigga mad, his bitch got took.
That's hard. That's
he said, I'm off a trail, I can't even.
This shit is easy as 1, 2, 3. Shit is easy as 1, 2, 3. Fuck going on? Real talk. Yeah. This shit is easy as 1, 2, 3. Shit is easy as 1, 2, 3. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Real talk. This shit is easy as 1, 2, 3. As easy as 1, 2, 3. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Fuck going on? This shit is easy as 1, 2, 3. As easy as 1, 2, 3. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Fuck going on? This shit is easy as 1, 2, 3. As easy as 1, 2, 3. As easy as 1, 2, 3. I can show you how to do it. Do what? I can show you how to play stupid. I can show you how to catch a fool, but you'll never know until you be foolish. Yes, I could give you the tools, but it ain't my fault if you fuck up and don't use it. Fucking up hotel rooms, it started with wine and playing some slow music. I know that I'ma be cool, but they say the strongest niggas gotta go through it. Strongest niggas gotta pull through. This shit easy, woke up in the mansion, it was 7 rooms and got a pool too. Nigga, I just turned on up so I was in the Tesla. I just took a upper dealing with the pressure out of. I be acing shit like I be taking tests. Fuck a basic bitch, I wouldn't hit it, never out the basement with it. Now I got some leverage. I just sat down as I wait for my beverage. Steak 48, get the credit. Okay, stand on it if you said it. Okay, this shit is easy if you put the work in and all the distractions you dead it. Yeah. Straight to the bank where I'm headed. Come on, I got the debit, but I'm using credit, cause honestly I think it's better. I go by.
Yo, what up, Reezy? What up, Sadiqa? See, it's 15 of y'all in here, and you know, I did say something last, I guess, on one of my videos. I told my moderators, I said, stop hunting people down for memberships. But I noticed my membership started dwindling when I did that. So get back to whatever y'all was doing because it was working. So we ain't going, if it ain't broke, we ain't going to fix it. Do what y'all do. You know what I mean? I ain't going to stop you. Yo, what's up, Shell Shot? What's up, Reezy? He said, peace to the family. Peace to everybody. That was my son, Darius Coit Jr., actually, in the intro, man. I need to start putting him out there a little more. He be whooping ass and taking names in that jiu-jitsu space, man. Told him I'm proud of him. So that's what y'all saw. That was in I think Eddie Bravo's finishers tournament where you only can win through submission or something like that. But he be whooping their asses, man. They be mad as hell at him too, because he only 21, but you fighting like 35-year-olds, 40-year-olds, all kinds of ages and experience levels, and he just be tearing their asses up. All right, make sure y'all do y'all due diligence when y'all get in here. You know what to do. You know, hit the like button. Make sure you sharing it. Oh, matter of fact, everybody that jumped on early, make sure you share it. Go ahead and put it in the chat for me, because if you put it out there on Twitter, everywhere else for me, you know, get the likes up. People gonna start joining the channel. Also, if you haven't become a member but you here every time, like Daniel, you need to be a member. Daniel, I already know what's up with you, man. But all y'all guys that's jumping on, that's always here. Make sure you join up and become a member. For the new guys or new gals who just joining up, never seen me before, stay around a while. I know you're gonna like it. So, you know what I mean? We'll talk later. Jimbo, he said, what's up, Okoye? I'm a Birds fan, but I love your content. Learned a lot watching your stuff. Keep it up. Hit the like. Jimbo, 215. I mean, I'm in Philly, and I appreciate you too. Like I said, I'm not a hater, you know what I mean? I'm just a Cowboy fan. So I have to say that because a lot of people hate the Eagles hate us. I hate y'all the week we playing, y'all. I'll tell you that. But I'm not a hater. I mean, I'm not gonna say something that ain't true just because you're an Eagles fan or just because I don't like, you know, when y'all beat us or vice versa. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I appreciate you saying that. That actually mean a lot. That means it got some crossover appeal, and I like that. Steve White, you another one, man. You've been around here for years. You need to be a member. You know what I mean? Do that. He said, I was listening to you, Okoye. That's what Sadiqa said. She said, anyway, I was going to continue promoting. Yeah, keep promoting, doing what y'all do, man. Thanks, Jimbo. I appreciate that, man. And I'm Philly everywhere else, too. The Flyers, the Sixers. I don't watch basketball no more, though, because AI ain't playing. AI was my guy. But, yeah, I'm Philly everywhere other than football. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It is what it is. Friday night classes in session. Yeah, I did this because my internet. First off, let me see if y'all like it now, because if I'm getting any lag, tell me. I shouldn't get no lag now. I done cursed these people out for the last 3-4 days, so it should be super fast. I mean, I probably got a rat inside of a wheel inside of my modem by now, the way I was cursing them out, because I wasn't getting this type of upload speed I needed, even though I'm paying for it. So I'm like, what's going on? Then I hardwired. I got an Ethernet cable right here that I just ran down. I need to staple it up because it looked tacky as hell. But I got a hardwire and everything. And I'm like, I'm getting amazing download speed, but my upload speed was too slow. So that's not good for me. Jimbo said, I heard, bro, some boxing content would be fire. I know you're busy knocking football content out. Oh, no, you didn't hear. Definitely follow and subscribe or become a member. But it's boxing content everywhere. Like, so you got to follow me, number one, on DRCO underscore Okoye. I'm putting it in the chat for you. That's my IG page. You can follow that, for boxing, for all of the training that I do. You'll see a lot of that stuff in there. And then also, if you go on Okoye Knows Boxing on Twitter, not on Twitter, on TikTok, I'm sorry, and YouTube, there's boxing there, and there's boxing on this channel too. But there's boxing. I do boxing content too all the time. People just don't know it as much because, people who follow me for boxing, and everybody here really, they really don't pay it no mind. I'm letting y'all gather up before I start the conversation because y'all know I got to step away from the chat in order for this to work, because I've noticed the last couple of lives I've done, I'm not coherent because I'm reading everything y'all saying and it's taking me different directions. Like right now, you just asked me what are my thoughts on Falk. I like Falk. I mean, listen, there's not too many misses when it comes to the draft, when it comes to me anyway. I don't look at any of them as a miss unless they just went out and just grabbed a player that I thought was just not good at all, right? Or against the grain. But even still, Christian Parker, this is what we're gonna talk about today though. But Christian Parker knows what he wants, so I definitely understand that. But it's not about misses. It's about how do you use the talent that they grab. That's how I think about the players themselves. And then I don't do mock drafts, So when I started doing the mock drafts today, this is the first mock draft I ever did. I said, okay. First I did it normal, right, where I just didn't trade at all, and there were just so many picks being taken, that players that I liked that were being taken in between those spaces. I said, well, are any players in this draft good enough for me to say this one guy is worth passing up on all these other talents that could be top level talent? And I can't think of anybody that's worth that, even at 12 or whatever, especially when you could trade back even into the first round. You could still be in the first round trading back. So I don't think anybody's worth that. You know what I mean? To me. But let me read these last couple comments, because you got two quick comments that I see here. Make sure if you guys are joining up, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and hit the join button and buy me a cup of coffee. It's only a cup of coffee or a ginger beer. Ginger beer costs like $7.99, and this ain't real beer. It's like a Jamaican drink. I'm not Jamaican, by the way. But, I mean, we all, I guess, from the island at some point, right? Which island? But this Turtle Island. But anyway, what I'm saying is make sure you hit the join button, because that allows me to keep doing these. And I had told everybody, hey, I'm going to stop saying that so much. But I got to change my mind on that one, because you guys stop joining up, and I need you to hit a certain metric for me to do what I need to do this year. So it is what it is, because I'm not stopping, and I got to hit these numbers. And that's not pressure on you. It's pressure on me to perform. So you guys have seen me in the last 30 days. You've seen me like 22 times live, which is more than I've ever done. You know what I mean? But I need to be able to sustain that. So I need y'all help with that. And all I'm asking is, buy Koya a cup of coffee. You dig? It ain't that hard. All right, let me answer these questions. All right, real quick. I see your question. You said my thoughts on Falk. I'll tell you. Falk, can you do something with him? Of course, because he has the same body type and build as Rashawn Gary. 6'5", 285. He doesn't have the same athleticism as Rashawn Gary, but same build, big guy. And it'd be good if you grabbed a guy like that. He would be your handcuff for Gary about 3 years from now. Shout out to Michael S. Ryan. Appreciate you joining up, brother. But yeah, he would be like a handcuff for Rashawn Gary in about 2 to 3 years if you like Falk. I don't see why anybody would hate him. There's no players that I absolutely don't like at all. It's just where you grab them and how much you're paying for them in relation to what you could have gotten in this draft. Like Caleb Downs, I think he's the best player in the draft, right? The problem is how far off is he from Thiemann? How far is Thiemann off from McNeil Warren? How far is McNeil Warren off from Kilgore, right? There's so many safeties that I can use. They might not be as good as Caleb Downs, but they're good, right? So it's so many of those guys that I can use. I'm like, well, do I need to jump up that high and pay that price for it? It's just like if you got a dime, right? You got a chick, she's a dime. She bad, Beyonce bad. But then you got Kelly Rowland bad. Then you got another one that's like Rihanna bad. You know what I mean? You're like, well, do I need the Beyonce bad or can I, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, you might be slightly badder, but do I need to pay that price? Do I need to jump up there and do that? I don't necessarily think so. But we'll get into that. Okoye, with teams being NFL teams, right? Being happy with Jordan Tyson Pro Day, supposedly enough to go 6-16, does that make things possible for a better player to be a defensive player? I don't get the question all the way. All right. With Okoye, with teams being NFL teams being happy with Jordan Tyson's pro day, supposedly enough to go 6-16, does that make things possible for a better player to be a defensive player? I would have to look into who. Number one, I don't know Jordan Tyson, so that question already kind of missed me. Not like trying to disrespect your question, Joe. I want to respect it, but I don't like to answer questions that I don't have information on. So I don't know who Jordan Tyson is. I don't watch college football, but if you send me some film, I'll watch Jordan Tyson. I'll tell you exactly what that pro day means, and I understand the question, but don't have enough information to answer. And I'm just honest, straight shooter, man. All right, here we go. He said, Joffrey Broughton 7707. Good topic. With all that talk about moving up, it seems the best idea is moving back and collecting picks where the talent is. That's absolutely correct, sir. The basement. That's exactly where I'm at, in the basement. He said, "What up, Okoye? Lando show put out something interesting where the Cowboys move up and pick downs, trade 20 and next year's first round pick for Crosby, and use pick 3 for Brooks. Your thoughts?" Absolutely not. Nothing against Lando. I like Lando. I like Crosby. I like Brooks. I've been watching Brooks' film too. Problem is, you don't need to use this year's draft capital to get either one of those players. That's what people are not understanding. This year's draft capital is for this year and for the future of this team and for depth, right? If you want to go get headhunters like Brooks and Max Crosby, you use next year's picks after the draft. Right now, again, business is not about Madden, right? And I'm not hating on anybody when I say that, but business is not Madden. Business is business. I'm in business, and people don't have to agree or think that I understand it, but it's a reason why I haven't had a job since 2014, and I ain't selling crack, and I ain't killing nobody. I ain't selling nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a reason why I haven't had a job since 2014, and I haven't had to work for anybody, because I understand how to buy things low, sell things high, or how to value myself and how to make money. And Jerry does too. And when you look at business, you say, okay, right now, even when you looked at Max Crosby earlier in free agency, we as a team kind of hate the fact that Jerry doesn't kill in free agency, right? And I'll say this and then I'll get into my topic because, like I said, I got to turn the comments off because you guys go crazy. But Jerry doesn't like to perform in free agency. People get mad about that. Jerry doesn't like to overpay for players that he could have gotten cheaper, right? When he does it cheaper, you guys devalue it based on the money. When he does it, when he overpays, you guys, get mad about the money either way, right? But Jerry knows that in free agency during that window, like when Max Crosby was trying to get his deal, the price is the highest, and everyone's overpaying for players based off of a sliding scale in the CBA. They're not paying for, like Will Anderson just got a crazy deal, right? They're paying this money. This money is allocated, and shout out to Robert T. Green, one of Rashawn Gary's representatives who I was talking to early. We got to finish our conversation too, but we were kind of talking about this deal. But people don't realize when they talk about the salary cap, you have a couple of ways that the salary cap is manipulated. And if you don't understand business, you don't understand what's going on. When Dak gets a contract, Dak is now a bank. When I want to go get money back from the contract I gave Dak, or I gave Tyron Smith, or I gave, Zach Martin or whomever, I can go get that money back in the form of advances, bonuses, restructures, right? Extensions even, right? So, and then you have incentive laden contracts as well that kind of eat into that. But that's part of it, right? But then when you also look at the CBA each year, the salary cap goes up every single year. So what was yesterday's price is not today's price automatically. It doesn't matter if you got better as a player. So if I got a deal this year and I'm the highest paid player at my position, next year automatically the next guy is going to set his marker off of what I made. That now I set the benchmark for the market, and now there's more margin or more equity there. And when someone gets signed next year, they're going to outdo my contract. That doesn't mean the agent went out and got them more money. That just means there's more money allocated for this position due to the precedents that I set. Automatically, that happens. It's not the agent going out and doing that for you. And that's what people don't understand. They think the agent is get. Now, some agents will get you deals, and that's an agent that's actually doing his job. I mean, when I say getting you a deal, I mean Jerry Maguire doesn't happen every day. Where you tell a guy to play on a shitty contract, and then that contract turns into something because they take the risk, like Javonte Williams did last year, and get a deal. Those types of deals are like the type of deals that an agent helps you work for, gets you in the right position, or even Rashawn Gary's deal. Rashawn Gary came here and left Green Bay on a prove it type of restructure, sort of, when he took the pay cut. Why? Because one, he knows he's going to get less tax while he's here, and two, he said, "Hey, I don't got no, I know what I am, so I got no problem coming in here, taking less money than what was offered, and then going and beating up the market in a year or two." You know what I'm saying? So that's just smart business. And it's smart business for Jerry, because people were even looking at it like, "Hey, when you went and got Rashawn Gary, they were going to cut him anyway." Well, what y'all don't realize is if you cut Rashawn Gary, now you have to compete against 31 other teams who might want Rashawn Gary, and now his price goes up. You don't get him for the cheap, right? But when you have a one-to-one negotiation, you do. So that is what's happening when you look at some of these deals and the way they're structured. But when people start talking about the salary cap or talking about how much we're paying, I follow, but I don't follow. I don't think that we're all in the same room when it comes to that. But either way, when it comes to Jordan Brooks, to your question, I appreciate it. When it comes to Jordan Brooks and Max Crosby, this year, the other high price would be the draft. If you use this year's draft picks to get Max Crosby, you just gave up 2 first-round picks that could have gotten you more draft picks in this draft, right? And then you get Max Crosby for it, who's already injured, but that's great. That's fine. But you can still get Max Crosby when the price goes down. He's not going anywhere. Next season, you can trade future picks the same way we got Quinnen Williams, the same way we got Kenny Clark. You know what I mean? You can trade future picks after this draft is over. Guess what? Those draft picks and next season's draft picks, 2027s, are now valuable again because this draft is over and the urgency is done, right? The demand is gone because these draft picks have been used. Now, if you're trading in the offseason a first-round pick for next year for Max Crosby, still makes sense, right? You get the draft picks that you want, and then you can still get Max Crosby. You do not have to trade these picks to do it. Guess what? After the draft, you can still get Jordan Brooks. You can trade next year's second round or next year's third round for Jordan Brooks and get him this year and keep this year's picks. So, not saying that there's anything wrong with the thinking of getting those players, but how to get them or using today's capital is where the problem lies, and that's what I disagree with. So that's my point with that. I don't mind trading picks, but I don't think trading this year's picks to get those guys, I don't think it makes any sense because you could still get them without doing that. You know, we've already shown that we've done that several times, so I don't see why we have to beat the horse to do it. It don't make sense to me. But nothing against anybody who does it. And I would be elated if we got those guys, but they're not, those are win now players. They're still not the future. Max Crosby is not the future. Jordan Brooks is not the future of this team. They're guys that you come in, they're hired mercenaries. They're going to come in and get you to the playoffs and get you deep, but you can still do that and still have a young ass team that those guys are coming and playing with if you keep these draft picks. I don't know. Maybe that makes sense to somebody. All right. Now, the reason we doing this video, make sure you guys first. So let me see where y'all at on the likes and subscribes because y'all do me dirty sometimes. I'll be having to holler at y'all. Like, that's crazy. Let me see. Oh no, we doing good. That's good. That's good. Let me monetize this joint. I was tripping. Let's get that back up. All right. When you're looking at the way the draft goes, right? It's something, number one, before we even get into it. Shout out to Jesse Holly. I was listening to a take that he put up talking about how everybody says they trust Christian Parker, but then at the same time they complain and they undermine every move we made. I think that was my biggest point, and the reason I agreed with him because that was my biggest point when it came to Rashawn Gary being here or Kenny Clark and Osa leaving. Every move that we make, guys are undermining. You know what I mean? Now you can say I don't like a player. You can say I hope that he knows what he's doing. I get that. You don't have to totally agree with everything just because you love Christian Parker. No, but you do understand that you haven't seen what he's attempting to do yet in order to, undermine it. So the best thing you can do, the only thing you can do really is try to reverse engineer his thoughts based off the things that he's saying out of his own mouth or Schottenheimer's saying, and then based off the holes that this team may have. Now, if you see those things and you say, yeah, let's use some deductive reasoning. Hey, we need a middle linebacker. And then and what type of middle linebackers does he say he wants? He'll tell you. He's told us already. What type of nickels does he want? He told us already. He named models of types that he wants to go after. They named Devin Weatherspoon as one type of guy. That's a Keontae Scott type of player. So you can look at Keontae Scott, who was a 30-visit player, and say he's probably a guy that they're targeting. Why? Because he fits a mold that they already professed out of their own mouths. When you look at D'Angelo Pons, or I don't know if I said his first name right, but Pons, he's short. And people say, oh, he's too short. Well, you just saw that he just signed 3 short defensive backs are shorter than usual in Kobe Durant, in Jalen Thompson, and PJ Locke. They are not 6 foot. They're 5'10", 5'11" guys. Pons is 5'9", 5'10", one of those shorter guys, right? So he already said, hey, I don't care how tall you are, I care how you play. I don't care how fast you are. Can you start and stop on a dime? And the smaller, shiftier corners are able to get in and out of breaks better, right? So this is what Christian Parker has said. So you reverse engineer what the Cowboys are likely to do based off of that. And then we take it a step further and we say, okay, let's look at the other guys that he brought here, the coaches. Marcus Dixon. Okay, what type of linebackers thrive with Marcus Dixon and what type don't? Well, pretty much any linebacker does. So then that opens the door for some of the linebackers that may not be at the top of the linebacker room, like Sonny Styles. So I even agree with Brian Broaders, who's talking about, hey, Sonny Styles got some things you work on. He is right. I even agree with the grade when they say he's not the top 5 graded linebacker. If you're looking at film, he is not. He has plenty of things to work on. The only reason that I still said, hey, you jump up and you can still go get him if you want him, because his frame, his potential, and the fact that Marcus Dixon would allow him to still be able to utilize the things that he can do well, which is run clean to the ball and make plays. If you had him in a system where, like last year, where he had to be able to bench press guys off of him in order to get to the ball carrier, I would not pick Sonny Styles so high, nor would I jump up to get him. And I said this when we first started the draft talk. I said that C.J. Allen, Jacob Rodriguez, and Josiah Trotter were the top 3 due to the fact that they all can do that, but they don't have to in this scheme. Where they struggle, though, which, again, if you're looking at Marcus Dixon, I love those 3 guys, right? But where they struggle is sideline to sideline speed. Where does the linebackers that play behind Marcus Dixon's line struggle? Sideline to sideline. So that would give them a lower grade, not because of their ability as a real linebacker, but because of the scheme that they would be playing in. So then guys like Anthony Hill Jr., Sonny Styles, Galladay, guys that can flow a little bit better, went up a little bit more for me because I understood what they would be looking for in a linebacker. They're looking for more DeMarion Overshawn types rather than, and this is just my assumption though, rather than a guy that's just coming down and just straight. Now, that doesn't mean they don't want a guy that can shed blocks. That's a lot. But if you can shed blocks and get sideline to sideline, then you're the best of both worlds, right? If you can only do one, can we teach you to shed blocks with BT Jordan here? Yep. But can you, if you can't, can you get sideline to sideline? If you can't do that, then you are still a problem. Because when you look at guys like Blake Cashman, when you look at guys like Alex Singleton, when you look at guys like Eric Wilson, those guys were benefiting from this scheme due to the fact that they can get sideline to sideline. You understand what I mean? So that is kind of the reason I'm looking at what Jesse Holly said and say, hey, I understand what he means, because I'm looking at what Christian Parker and those guys are saying they want based off of the guys they brought in here to teach these guys on top of that, right? So when you look at that, you can understand what he's trying to do and you don't undermine it so much. But everyone is like going out of their way to like, they think that this is their team. It's like, look, listen, you're not going to get the players that you want. They don't give a fuck what you want. They care what fits their system. And if you trust Christian Parker, which I do, you got to allow that to happen. You know what I mean? And then see what he's looking for or see what he's looking to accomplish with that. That's all. Now, to the point of the draft, right? Like I said, I started doing the mock drafts, which it's a little addictive, actually. I was like, man, I'm going in on these joints. But I started looking at the mock drafts, and when I did, I started seeing that when I just kept it flat or traded up, I would get a great player, but then it would be a lot of gaps, and I would miss a lot of players. Like I got Sonny Styles when I traded up. I got Mansour Delane one time I traded up. But then I was like jumping back into the second round, which is okay, right? But I was losing those first 2 picks in the first round to jump up, right? Jumping back in the second round was okay, but still missed a lot of talent due to that. And consistently I did that. And they were okay drafts, but when I started seeing like the abundance of like greatness, it started coming across when I started trading back. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. And this is consistent. So it's not like one array. It's like repeatedly multiple arrays of draft picks were still good. Like this is one I just did that you guys probably haven't seen, but we traded back to 24, got Mesidor. And then at 41, CJ Allen was there, grabbed him. At 56, Keontae Scott. If those 3 players right there, those 3 players can start for you right now. Those 3 players can change your team. But then beyond that, at 70, you got Lee Hunter. Lee Hunter is a guy that can play nose tackle. He can kind of do the things that Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams are doing, and he's learning behind those guys and guys like Bullard and Agbania, right? So bringing a young guy like Lee Hunter into this room, and another draft, I think it was Woods, but bringing those guys into this room only makes them better, faster, and it makes it so that you don't have to rely on them to be great. They just have to learn under those guys and get better, right? Then after that was Jalen Kilgore at 81. Josiah Trotter was still there at 88. So even though I grabbed C.J. Allen at 41, I said Josiah Trotter's still there at 88, taking him anyway, right? So I'm already 5-6 players deep, and each one of those guys are people that I would say is pretty good, right? You got Malik Muhammad because we needed another corner, grabbed him. He was there at 100. Derek Moore, who's to me, I don't understand why he's not higher, but Derek Moore is a solid pass rush out of Michigan, very vicious. He's there at 110, and at 112, Kyle Lewis is still there. We got so I'm what 10 players in already, I think 9 to 10 players in, and I'm ending on Kyle Lewis, right? So when you look at it from that aspect, right, I still grabbed a running back in a guard, a tackle after that. But those are the defensive players that were I was able to get just by trading back out of the first round. And I'm like, that's not an anomaly. I think if the Cowboys decided that they want to get deep like they did when they did that Herschel Walker trade, I think trading back would be the most value for the Cowboys because they need playmakers, yes. And as I said, they can still get star players or your war daddies, if you will, after the draft if they want to. They can still use future draft picks to do that. But in this draft, trading back gets you the depth that you're looking for. And it was consistent. I've done it like four different times in each array of players. There's so many good players still there in the second and third round. If you get deep between rounds 2 and 4, you can kill in this draft. You can kill it. I had one where I had Harold Perkins Jr., and Kyle Lewis, and Pons, and Keontae Scott, and Mesidor, and someone else. Like I doubled up at every position. So doubled up at pass rusher, doubled up at nickel, defensive tackle, everything. Right? Let me see. That wasn't this one. Let me see which one it is. Yeah, that was this one. So it was at 20. So we kept 20, but traded back out of 12 to pick 30, which is still the first round. Right. So we still had 2 first round picks, and the 2 first round picks at picks 20 and 30 were Akeem Mesidor and Jacob Rodriguez. And then at 43, D'Angelo Pons At 52, Caleb Banks, who's another defensive tackle, nose tackle type that can learn behind those guys. At 54 was Keontae Scott. At 92, Kyle Lewis. At 120, Harold Perkins, sorry. At 177, Keyshawn Elliott. I don't know why he was still there. And then I went and got another edge rusher, Mason Rager, who has the frame for BT Jordan to work with. And at the end of it, Lorenzo Styles Jr. You know what I'm saying? Like that entire draft is effective. Now, and I'm not saying it because I picked it. I'm just saying like all those players, even if some of them turn out not to be good, you got so many of them and doubled up at so many different positions that your chances of finding that one or those couple guys that really can change the tide for this team are greater. And I think that's what people are missing when they talk when we start arguing about trading back. It's not about there's no one player at the top of this draft that I think is so good that, and there might be, but those guys that are so good that right now we're like, okay, he's worth 5 of those other guys, right? I don't think so. Now I look at Styles. The only reason I like Styles is because of his safety ability, his frame for being able to play outside linebacker, and then he's a linebacker, right? But rightfully so, that is all potential and what if. He has to still grow into that and do it. You know what I mean? So that's my point when it comes to the trade backs. And then when we start looking at players and look at what this team needs, it really gets apparent real fast. And I'll throw some film up here in a minute. Not of the players, but of just some of the players on this team. Let me get back into the comments and see what's going on because I took a step away for a second. She said, make sure everybody hitting that like button. I think y'all hooking me up with the likes this time, I think. And it's Friday. Y'all ain't got shit to do. You know what I mean? Y'all got 57 likes and the 70 y'all on here. Give me some more of those. You know what I'm saying? I need everybody to stop what you're doing and hit the like button for a second. He said Jordan Tyson is good. He said Jordan Tyson is good, but he has torn his ACL, MCL, and PCL. So that's kind of a risk. Yeah, I'm not taking any more injured players. Even if they came back and they're not injured anymore, I don't want them more. I'm cool. 1900 Hoodlip said, I wish people would give up on Crosby, please. You don't got to give up on him. You just got to chill out in the offseason. Like, not before the draft. It would never happen before the draft. It doesn't make any sense for that to happen before the draft. Last year, we said the same thing, and now we act like we forget. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. Like, this is the same thing I say when you're dealing with your chick, right? If you never seen me accomplish something or you never seen me get us out of a jam, I could get you doubting me then. But when you see us do it, right, and it's effective, shut the fuck up because you know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Last year, what were y'all complaining about? Are we going to replace Zach Martin? Did we do it with Booker? I think so. They said we need another receiver. Did we go get one after the draft in GP that did better than CD? I think so. And then we also had we grabbed Javonte Williams. This year's Javonte Williams, how good did he play? Do you think they didn't know what they were doing? I think they do. He played pretty damn good. Now this year's Javonte Williams is Rashawn Gary. Everybody like, well, why did you go get Rashawn Gary? Why didn't we get this guy, that guy? They did this last year, right? And this year you have to trust the process. They're not going to go before the draft and spend a lot of money and just throw some paint up against the wall hoping that it sticks. And to me, I don't even think that's a bad idea. I think that's stupid to go and do that. I think it's best to chill during the free agency because in free agency, you're getting like everybody is getting the highest top, but they're getting top dollar for what though? Free agents don't be like hitting home runs. If they was hitting home runs, they wouldn't be free agents anyway. Most of them is free agents because their team did not want to re-sign them. Why do you think that is? Because their price was going to be higher than what they thought they would be valued at. Don't you get it? Or they say, well, no, they probably couldn't pay for him. There is no such thing as you can't pay for a player that you want in this league. You can restructure. You got other players that you can cut if you want them that bad and that good, right? But they don't. Why aren't they doing it for a certain player? Like, why isn't Michael Parsons here? Is he not here because we couldn't sign him? We could sign Michael Parsons. We could have. But did they want to? I don't think they did. If they did, they would have done it like that. They don't wait to sign. The Cowboys don't wait to re-sign guys that they actually really like, that they think are the homegrown guys. Like Bland, they had to wait for his money. Diggs got hurt, still got his money. They didn't care. Why? Because they thought that they were the guys. You know what I mean? And at that time, they had Al Harris here, was making everybody look like king shit. Um, he said Cleveland trade puts us in perfect spot. 12 plus 20 don't look as nice. I like the Cleveland trade because it still gives us that 39th pick and maybe another. But the 39th pick's not bad because 39 is still, to me, you're still going to get, because of the fact that they're offensive players that are going to go off this board, you still can possibly get a first round graded defensive player at 39. So if you're still getting 2 first round picks with 6 and 39, you're just getting a stronger pick. And like I said, there are guys at the top 5 or top 6 that you can say, oh, they make this team instantly better. If you're going to do it and go get Sonny Styles, I'm not mad at it if you did that. But I still would, if I traded. But the problem I have with trading those two is you're getting 2 for 6 and 39, where you can trade each one of those first round picks individually. Now you can trade back 3 spaces from 20 and probably pick up a second or third round pick. That's what I kept doing. I would trade back 2 to 3 spaces, maybe 4 spaces from 20 to 24. I'm probably still getting Mesidor at 24. If I was getting him at 20, I'd probably still get him at 24. But if I can get him, instead of picking him at 20 and just keeping the 20, get him at 24 and pick up another second round or another third round. Why wouldn't you do that? Or same thing with 12th pick. You don't got to pick at 12. If you wanted like Thieman's probably there at 17. So if you can slide back to 17 or slide back to 21, still get another first round pick. But now that slide of 8 spaces or whatever, you still now grab another second round pick or a third round pick. So you still get 2 first round picks, 2 first round talents, but now you're getting 2 second round picks and 2 more third round picks. You're going to kill. I don't care who you are. You're going to get everything you're looking for. So that's why I don't love I like the Cleveland pick, but having to trade both those first rounders and getting just 2 for 2 is my issue. You're getting 2 picks for 2 picks, and it really, you just say, all right, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna put my guy in the back of the line at 39 and in front of the line at 6, and you guys can pick in the middle. Cool. That's what we're really doing. But we're still 2 first round talents, just at different spots. So I'll get you with the value of it. But trading each one as an individual, you're getting 2 picks for each one of those picks, 2 or 3 picks for each one of those picks. Doing that makes more sense because you can still get first round talent by trading both of those individually, but pick up 2 more second rounders and 2 more third round picks this year on top of what we're already doing. And that's a power move where you make this team deeper. You make this team deep instantly. So it's just how they play it and how they feel like they're gonna go about it. He said Crosby would be nice. Everybody knows Crosby would be nice, but just taking your shirt off for it, losing your shirt for it don't make sense. This is why you're my favorite content creator. King7 once said, teams will pay average players in free agency like they're good and good players in free agencies like they're great. Yeah, King Steven said it. Yeah, that's true. And that's automatic. Like, think about some of the look at what the Packers did, even though they didn't do it in free agency. But look at what they paid. They gave up Kenny Clark, right? Treated Kenny Clark like he wasn't good. To me, I'm not hating when I say this, but I would take what we did with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark 10 times out of 10 over Micah Parsons. And I'm not bullshitting. Micah Parsons as a defensive end versus those two, getting those two, I would do it every time. If that was a mock simulator trade or whatever, I would do that shit every time. Because both of those guys, not only are they true pros that come in and they teach the guys and have an effect on the guys in the locker room around them, but they destroy your A-gap together. And they make it so that any guy, like if you had drafted a Mozzie and had those guys here, or you draft the Woods and you had those guys here, or you draft the Lee, what's Lee, whatever the hell his name is. But you draft the Caleb, I don't remember none of these kids' names, man. There's so many Calebs, so many Lees, and so many. Sorry. But you draft any defensive tackle and put them in that room with those guys, they're going to instantly get better, and they don't have to come out and be the guy day one. You're not putting that kind of pressure on a rookie. You go get you a veteran that's at each level, right? But taking those two guys over Micah Parsons, to me, that's a genius trade that everybody was mad about. But right in the middle of the season, Micah Parsons tears his ACL. We paid Micah Parsons, and he had a torn ACL right now. And everybody's like, he coming back next year, but then he's going to have a redshirt year, and he might not be the same, and blah, 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 yaggity schmackety. Do you think that's a win? I don't think that would have been a win. I don't think it would. Now, you can argue it, but I don't think it would. That would have been wasted money. You know what I mean? That's like taking money and just lighting it on fire. For what? I wouldn't do it. He said buying fishing lures at the lake. Facts. You buying fishing lures at the lake, you're gonna spend more money. Buy worms at the lake. Each worm be like $4. This ain't Madden. Players need to make plays, period. Never seen Jerry miss or make a tackle. That's a fact, Thanos. That's a fact. All right. Yeah, we don't do bidding wars. I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. To all AK family in the building, tap into the memberships if you haven't. Appreciate that, Reezy. Don't let your money get mad and don't be eager to spend 100 facts. The front office has literally said that multiple times every year. Free agency is a bidding war where you overpay for guys. They refuse to do business like that. I agree with that. And the way I am with, like I said, the way you are with females, right? I like who like me. That's who I like. You don't chase nobody, right? So if you're talking to someone and they want you to, serenade them, chase them, and court them, and yeah, you court people, but you court the ones who courting you. Why the hell? I'm not about to. You're not gonna friend zone me. I'm not about to chase you. None of that. What we doing that for? And that's what it is in business too. Love, all's fair in love and war, but why the hell would I go out and spend top dollar on somebody who is only being paid that money based off of stat metrics that may not even translate to my team because it might not translate. It might not be a scheme fit, but the price the same. You ain't gonna give me a discount because my scheme don't fit your skill set, or you might be injured. They're gonna lie about it. Ask Jerry when he said Pac-Man Jones broke his neck, right? Here. He asked Jerry, hey, please don't tell nobody I broke my neck. He gonna take a year off to heal. He healed, came back, played for Cincinnati 4 more years, right? He said, I thank Jerry for that. DeMarcus Ware left here with a broken neck. You know what I mean? These guys get hurt and they leave here and they damage some kind of way. Maybe Jerry knows that. He ain't gonna say it to the public, but he knows. So he's like, you want me to pay what? Based off of what? You know what I'm saying? Micah Parsons left here, injured. He's injured immediately. Trayvon Diggs left here. He wasn't looking the same here, and he damn sure ain't looked the same when he left. You know what I'm saying? We looking at the player based off of stats and potential ability, not what they're doing. We're not looking at their doctor's reports. We're not looking at none of that. So free agency is definitely a risk. It's like buying houses from the sheriff's cell, and you can't go into the house, but you got to buy it anyway. You're bidding against people for a house that you can't walk into. It's not like going to shopping with a mortgage approval or a loan approval. It's like buy at your own risk. You know what I mean? Dada Yoda, what's good? He said, sounds to me like there's too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. I mean, that's always the truth, man. Just Blaze. Just Blaze used to be the man when I was growing up. When you heard Just Blaze, you know a hit was coming on. I think what was that? Welcome to New York City. I think he did that, Joe. Dark Nez, appreciate you becoming a member, brother. Listen, when y'all do that, like it's not us up here begging for coffee only, right? We are begging for coffee, but it's not us up here doing that just to be doing it. As I said before, there's people that are behind this that you don't get to see, you don't get to meet. Shout out to Noah, who's actually a National Guardsman. I haven't heard from Noah in a minute. I got to check on him because I know he's probably doing some war drills or something like that. But he's a soldier. But he does a lot of the edits for me, a lot of the cutting up my film when you see shorts and stuff like that. He's the one doing it. I got to pay these guys. And right now I'm paying them out of my pocket. I'm not paying them from this channel because the channel don't make enough to pay them. So you want the channel to grow? You want me to keep giving you new, unique content? Like you want me to keep going up and throwing the film up? A lot of y'all be like, oh, I'm leaving. Why? Because the film ain't on, right? Okay. Well, you want me to put film on? That costs me every time because as soon as I do that, these super chats that you're throwing up here, they get taken away. The money that comes off of the advertising goes to the NFL, not me. You know what I'm saying? So when you do that, or when you just watch the video, yes, I'm happy that you guys are giving me views. I'm happy that you're sharing, but understand that the memberships are what allows us. That's the only thing they don't take from me. So that allows us to keep this thing going. So that's why we say it so often, and that's why it's so important. It's not about. If it was about me, I don't need to ever make another video. I swear to God. I'm not rich, but my other business that's making me be able to sit here all the time every day would allow me to chill. Like I could chill, go chill with my kids. When my kids grown and I got my grandfather, I can go chill with them. I got enough money to do that. I can go do whatever I want to do. I don't have to be in Philly. I can go drive somewhere. I'm like, oh shit, I got 8 hours to spend in front of a computer. I can go do whatever I want. So it's not for me. This is for this channel for real because I'm the one funding it. And I've been doing that for 10 years for you guys to benefit and be entertained or educated. And there's a lot more coming. I will be flying to Dallas. I won't say why because I'm not allowed to say why, but there's a lot of big moves being made behind the scenes. And you guys are actually helping me become a little bit more consistent. And that consistency is making me recognizable in the space on a much different level. So I do appreciate everything. Just know that because it's growing. But don't think we just out here trying to get you to join up just to join up. It ain't about me getting rich off no memberships. That ain't the plan. It's got to sustain itself though. Feel me? Mo Perry said, I love the Rashawn Gary signing. Me too. I love Rashawn Gary, man. And then his team, they cool as shit, man. But like I said, Robert T. Green, funny dude. When he first called me, I didn't know who he was because it was like we had been talking on Twitter, but I never saved his name in my mind. You know how I am with names. So I'm like, what did I do? Because he just start going. He just got on the phone, and started talking. I was like, but can you refresh my memory? Like, tell me what exchange we had so I can remember like what we talking about. He's like, oh, the backtrack and told me who he was. I was like, oh, okay. Didn't know. But even that relationship and the relationships with a lot of the players, like I said, Brandon T. Shout out to Brandon T. Jordan's dad, I think it is, that follows. I know he said something in my comments in the chat that I'm. You know, that's my son. I said, oh shit. I said, well, appreciate you making them. But a lot of that shows that people are watching. Brandon T. Jordan actually followed on Twitter as well. So that means they're watching and they respect what I'm saying. I must not be wrong in what I'm saying because the people I'm talking about jump on and they don't disagree with what I'm saying. So that, it's not me saying it because they said it. I'm saying what I say. And they're like, damn, how the hell does he know? So they reach out to me or they'll follow. But when they reached out, I thought that was like crazy because like I said, I don't solicit anything and they come. That's the most I think respectful way to thank me for what I'm doing. And when my players do that, Dez has done it. Like I said, Dayton Jones has done it. But when they do that, and Jordan Lewis too when he was here. But when they do it, I respect it because it just lets me know I must be on the right page, right? And I appreciate that. But let me keep going. Oh, my bad. They erased Angie comment. He said, charge it to my head, not my heart. I don't agree with everything Jesse says. His takes on Christian Parker was spot on. Let that man do what he do. That's a fact. When I think everybody disagreed with Jesse. Jesse would just be early sometimes, right? And so was I. I said it, but he had a louder voice when he said it, and he said it on 105, so it went way crazier when he did. But I agreed with him when he was talking about Micah Parsons not living up to his true potential by playing defensive end. But when he said that, everybody came at that man like he was a hater, and everybody disagreed with that take. But he never said anything wrong. He said, you have the ability to affect the game from multiple spots, and you're choosing to affect it from one. That's lazy. I don't know why everybody took offense to that. But it was because Micah was here. They didn't want to piss him off. They didn't want to lose him. But he was right. Now, 2 years later, he seemed like Nostradamus, but nobody paid attention to that. So Jesse be on point. And I remember one time he came at all the content creators, me and him having back and forth or whatever. And that's when I was like a little more argumentative than I am now. And when I went to Dallas, we met up and he cool dude. Like we met at him and Sky's show. And I mean, we talked and we is cool. So, I respect him and I respect how he looks at anybody who has their own credibility. Like if I played the game, like I boxed, and I haven't boxed as a pro, but I understand when a boxer be like, yeah, how many pro fights you got? I'm like, none. How many amateur fights you got? None. But I'll beat your ass. But they be like, how many you got? But I understand what they're doing. They're like, yo, I've been doing this since I was 8 and I done climbed this ladder. How you coaching me? So in order for me to coach a guy like that, I have to prove myself to them because they don't. I don't have the added credibility of he a 2-time national champion or he a Golden Gloves champion or he an Olympian. I don't got none of that. So credibility is king. And if I have credibility, I understand you looking at the guys that are coming up because there are a lot of guys in the space, content creators, whether they consider themselves professional or not, who don't know what the fuck they talking about for real. It's a lot of them, and usually the what do you say? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Usually, the ones who are the loudest be the ones who are the wrongest, are the ones who don't know shit the most or know the least. You know what I'm saying? But they the loudest. You know what I mean? So I get when people come out and shoot that down. I don't take it as a personal affront because I know I do the work. If you're not doing the work, you know why it hurts your feelings when he say shit like that. It don't bother me. And when he said what he said about Michael Parsons, I thought he was right the first time. I do. Because I still think that Michael Parsons is still the most talented linebacker in the league, but he's an underachiever, in my opinion. I don't care how many sacks he get. He still, if he led the league in sacks, he still would be an underachiever. That's what nobody thinks is true, but it is. Parker probably has packages for the players he's getting. He definitely has packages. He knows what type of players he needs. Think about it. Parker was a part of the team that took Zach Bond, a guy. Now imagine if if they did that here 2 years ago, he would have never survived to be an All Pro, because as soon as we'd have told them we're taking Zach Bond from the Saints and making him our starting middle linebacker when they don't have a start middle linebacker, what type of chaos would it cause right now when you got free agency? You got linebackers in the free agents. Jordan Brooks, let's trade for Jordan. If today you took Zach Bond, All Pro, 2-time All Pro Zach Bond, from New Orleans when they took him, he never had any stats. He never did anything in New Orleans as an edge. He never even played middle linebacker. He said, we're going to take that edge and make him our middle linebacker. Y'all will snap today. Y'all will snap. Go crazy. You know what I mean? Let's see. People will still get mad even if they did it the same way they wanted it done. Facts. Revisionist history does that. This time next week, I'll believe most solid Cowboys fans will be happy about our new players. Yeah, they will. I hope they will. If they don't, I don't give a damn. Koei Media, good to see you. Thank you for your time and dedication. I appreciate you, Just Blaze. Facts, Marcus Montero. People will always say something instead of letting TP cook. Facts. Angie, they giving Angie love up in there. What's up, Angie? Angie keep changing her profile pic. I see you though. I see you. Patriots built their dynasty by trading, accumulating picks, and coaching up their guys. I'm willing to pursue that strategy more efficiently. More efficiently as well. Acquire Media, peace, brother. Get right, get left. Get right or get left. I like that name. You're right about that. When you look at the Cowboys for years, I think, and this is something I talked about the other day. I don't think people caught what I was saying, because they kept saying, "Oh, it's Will McClay fault." No. The scouting department for the Cowboys is pretty damn good, and I don't think they fall off year by year. I think they know what they're picking. I think that our ability to cultivate those players and turn them into what they need to be has been where the issue is. And I think the ones who have become all pros, I think they became all pros because they just so happen to be pretty good. Like if you throw enough paint against the wall, something's going to stick, right? That don't mean you painted the wall. You know what I mean? I'm really looking forward to seeing the boys actually develop a coaching tree. Facts. I agree. Darkness. I ain't people. You know what's crazy? My business is called, like, the business all this is built on is called Formless, but it's spelled number 4, M as in Mary, LESS. So people think it's 4M less. It's Formless, but it's spelled with a number 4, right? And in darkness, I ain't know. I was calling you Darken. I don't know what I called you earlier, but when you first joined up on the membership joint, I didn't know what I called you, but it wasn't darkness though. I ain't peeped that it was darkness. Best quote of the night. They don't give a fuck what you want. That's a fact. They don't care what we want. They care what CP want. If you trade back from 12, you can get a haul. The second and third rounds are stacked with legit defensive starters. Yes, it is. Okoye, you gonna say we ain't got shit to do? Y'all don't got shit to do. Y'all here on Friday night. I'm like, damn, y'all still up here, and I don't even, I don't announce these, so it ain't even like I can say, hey, we scheduled this. It wasn't even no schedule. I just jumped on randomly, and y'all up here with me, and I know why I'm here. I got shit to do too, though. I guess I'm lying because y'all might have something to do. Y'all might just like me this much. You know what I mean? I'm flattered. I'm flattered, Angie, because I say it like this. Um, I could go do something. I was just sitting at the bar just now a second ago. I could have stayed there and just said fuck this tonight, but came home, got my little, my little food from the joint. I'm gonna eat a little later. I like poke bowls and Hawaiian food, so I went and got my food, got me a little drink, then came here, and I'm gonna fuck it up later. Fred Warner was a safety converted to linebacker. Not saying Styles has that upside because he's so raw, but coaching does matter. I don't mind projects or development systems have been terrible with our development systems have been terrible with linebacker. But we haven't had linebacker coaches, number one. Number two, we haven't had a scheme that makes linebackers better. Let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna show you the difference between schemes real quick. I'm glad you said what you said. Um, he said Rashawn Gary gonna go crazy. Just look at his disruption when he was not playing next to Kenny and Q. That is a fact, good brother. Let me show you something though. If I could find, like, I got so much film now, it'd be hard to find the footage that I'm looking for. Denver versus Dallas. Yeah, boom. There we go. Let me show y'all something. Oh no, this not it. Not that one. See what I'm saying? Where I don't understand how this computer don't find. Nope. Nope. Huh. It don't find it though. I'm like, I'm typing the name in directly, and then I'll go to that file, and it'll be labeled exactly how I just typed it in. It'll be like, can't find it. I don't know if it's cap sensitive or what, but that's just stupid. Let me go back to the Denver game though. I want to show you. Damn, I said that. That's bad. Why I say that? Let me see. Nope. Remove. That wasn't it. I said I titled that one Shamar James sucks. I shouldn't have said that. I'm growing. I won't say that ever again. I will say it again probably, but I'll try not to say it unless he pisses me off while I'm drunk screaming at the TV. You know what I mean? But I will try to chill. Let me see if I can find this game. Denver. Denver, Denver, Denver. I'm trying to find it so you guys can see what it looked like when we were playing Denver. Maybe it's bad, bitch.
So when I'm
So that's a song. I think. All right, that wasn't it either. My bad, y'all. I'm gonna get like a better nomenclature. I'm gonna name things a little bit better so we ain't gotta deal with that no more. But I want y'all to see it because it changed as soon as we changed our scheme. It got instantly easier for our guys, right? And that was because they didn't have to deal with anybody getting to the second level. Let's see if I can find it, and then we can go from there. If I can't, then it's all right. Morris Washington, Morris star 3-4 looks. Morris and Denver. All right, this is Morris Denver. Let me see if it's in this game. Mm-hmm. This one play. Where are these play? Oh, this one actually, these work too. Let me see. Boom. This was Mozzie, I think. Just look at them just look at Shamar James. Watch Shamar James and watch Kenneth Murray real quick. Watch this. Let's just see. There's nothing. Look, boom. Like getting your linebackers blown up like this, right? This is the offensive line hitting you. You're not hitting them. They're hitting you. Look at it. Smack. You see that? I mean, yeah, Shamar James has work to do, but it's kind of hard to be good when your scheme allows that over and over again. Watch the guards fire off when this ball gets snapped. If it's a running play, it's not a running play, so don't worry about it. But they were making it very difficult for these guys. Let me see. See what we got going on. Look at that. Already the ball snap. As soon as the ball snap, watch this. Watch 60. Who stopped 60? This is so easy for an offensive line because look at the spacing. Number one, 72. They could just get to the second level with unimpeded. Now watch Osa. Let's see Osa 77. Well, 77 did the Osa immediately. So when you got guys in front of you who are this easy to handle, they all at the second level. 77 smack Osa to the ground immediately, right? Boom. Now Shamar James looks like he's free. He's free to shoot. He just took a very bad angle. But those guys can get to the second level and hit all they want. Dan, that was a great hit by Reddy Stewart. Those guys can get to the second level and make noise, though, all they want. Because there's nothing stopping them from climbing to the second level. All those guys just got to the second. They downfield looking for something to hit. You know what I mean? All the entire offensive line. Let's see what happens here. Boom. Combo block climb. Look at this. Just look. Just watch the linebackers. They get 8 up quick. Watch the linebackers. This is when we were running the 4-3 looks, right? We were getting killed. Now, once Kenny Clark and once Quentin Williams came here and we started running those 5-man fronts and the 3-4 looks, and like I said, this ain't all cut up. This is just random shit that I just film that I have that I probably have never put up. But like I said, I got hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of footage. So I kind of remember everything that I sat and watched. So I know where I'm looking for. But at the same time, I don't know exactly where everything is at all time. I'm going to show you even before Quentin Williams was here, right? Just the 3-4 looks. Let me show you. The 3-4 looks. Let me see. All right, watch this. Now, these looks, some of them are 3-4 looks, but just pay attention to what happens when your linebackers are able to just run free, no matter if their name is Kenneth Murray or not, or Shamar James or not. Shamar James even got a forced fumble in this game. Everybody loved him for it, but I'm like, he ain't get blocked because look at this front. You have Sam Williams here playing 4-eye. You got Kenny Clark playing nose. You got Osa playing 4-eye. Then you got Fowler standing up outside, and you have Morris on the line where he's going to be this year. People are like, well, why did you move Morris? They moved Morris last year. He'd been moved. They just announced it this offseason. But he was moved last year. Now let's watch. And he played there. Now watch. Let's see what happens. The spacing is different already. Do you see anybody at the second level? Well, now they are. The tight end got to the second level. Shamar James is still free. Morris is free. Boom. Morris just got pushed out of there. Now this is for Bland. Bland's supposed to make this tackle, make the damn tackle Bland. But either way, they weren't on the second level as fast. Now let's watch this. Let's see what happens here. Boom. This is a pass play, so it don't really count for me. But that's good sideline to sideline from Murray. No problem with that. But that wasn't a run play, so I ain't really hype about that. I want the running plays. Let's see what happens. The entire time, Shamar James is just reading and reacting, but nobody touched him. But that's because they were using misdirection here too. But nobody touched him at all. He was able to float to the ball. When your linebackers can float to the ball, regardless of the scheme, but when they can float to the ball, they can make plays. When automatically guys are getting to the second level, even though that was a good shed that time from Kenneth Murray, he got out of the way, but he went around the guy. He didn't really shed him. But when they have to deal with shedding blocks, like almost immediately, like right now, look, 77 is all the way up on the second level already. He didn't have to do shit to get to the second level. Nothing. Watch 77, or 72, is it? The right tackle. Watch this. Boom. Second level, done. Very easy. He ain't had to do shit. You just walk up the field. There's nobody stopping you. You can get to the second level when we want. Craziness. We need guys running free. I remember this play. Let me see if we got any more run plays. Boom. Now this is sort of 3-4, even though Morris is kind of off ball. He's really like 4-3 under, but he's close enough. Semi 3-4 looks. Right. Boom. Cool. Osa does a good job of nothing again. Like Osa be getting pushed out his gap over and over again, and people keep saying Osa good. Osa did not play very well, in my opinion, when he was here. Like he made Kenny Clark fall all over the place on this one. Like he's not holding his ground. He's getting moved. And this is a cut back lane right there, but Fowler is squeezing that. Boom. But you see the linebackers though. Look at this. How easy is it to play linebacker when you can do this? Even though these guys up front are not Quinion Williams and Kenny Clark. Look at that. Look at the linebackers right now. Shamar James. Look, all three of them. Shamar James. Nobody's touching him. Kenneth Murray. Nobody's touching him. Morris Leofau. Nobody's touching him. Nobody engaged with any of those guys because of the chaos that was caused up front. And then Kenneth Murray gets to find the ball and make a tackle. Now, if he was doing that all season and you weren't seeing guys climb to the second level, you wouldn't have hated him half as much. I promise you wouldn't have. But he wasn't able to do that because of the scheme that we were running. Even here, look at this. Boom. Finds the ball there, no problem. Why? I mean, obviously, as linebacker, you do want a guy that can eventually shed blocks because you're going to have to do it at some point in the game. But you shouldn't have to do it all game dealing with a guy that's 100 pounds heavier than you running full speed ahead with nobody stopping him. Shouldn't have to do that. That's stupid. Look at this. Boom. Nobody's at the second level. Nobody's at the second level. Shamar James is covering grass. So Shamar James has the B gap. Kenneth Murray has the opposite B gap. Look at this. Boom. Who got cut like that? I think that was Marshawn Nealon. Bam. Both the linebackers meet at the ball carrier. Let's see if they get to the second level this time. Kenneth Murray still. Nobody's fucking with Kenneth Murray. Shamar James just got engaged. Boom. They flow over the top, make a tackle. They look much better. This looks much better when you don't allow the offensive lineman to fire off and get to the second level. And this was us doing it haphazardly. Once again, looks much better when your line can just soak up blocks. So I look at those guys on the interior. Let's see what they're doing. So Osa slants to the left. Kenny Clark and Sam Williams. Sam Williams slants left, and Kenny Clark and Sam Williams just make a mess in the middle of the field, leaving Dowdle one-on-one with Morris Leofau. I know I've been saying Morris so crazy. I say Morris. I'm from down. My whole family from down North Carolina, so we say things crazy. I don't know. My mom say fute. She don't say fruit. Fruit. She can't say fruit. She say fute. I don't know why. And she educated. My mom a teacher. She still say fute. But either way. But anyway, boom. Morris Leofau one-on-one. Then you see Kenneth Murray blitzing as well. Nobody can really get a hand on any of those guys, and all those guys meet at the ball carrier. You know what I mean? That's what happens when you cause chaos near the line of scrimmage. Here's Morris here. Let's see what these guys are doing. They're all slanting or pinching. Look at the linebacker. Shamar James free. Leofau is winning. And Murray is free. Right now, Murray is free right behind Leofau. Shamar James is free. All the linebackers are free. Look at the mess in the middle of the field. That's what you're looking for here now versus what we saw in the Denver game, which I can't find that one play that I'm looking for. Maybe it's in this one. Maybe it's here. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's see. Let's see if it's here. Because Denver was doing it all day. Look at the second level now. Look at 72. 69 is watching 50. 72 is climbing to 59. Look at that immediately. Now Morris sees that and gets downhill. But look at that. At the snap, your linebackers are already dealing with two linemen that are able to just run free to them. You know, that's I don't care what linebacker you got. When Ray Lewis didn't have a 3-4, Ray Lewis even struggled without the 3-4. He needed those big bodies in front of him. You need those big bodies. It's wear and tear on your body when you don't got them. Now look what happens when they actually got the bodies in front of them. The plays where we actually, I don't know why Eberflus wasn't consistent with this, but the plays where you actually saw us play this way, this is another 5-man front. There's Morris on the line, there's Azarako on the line, and then 3 down linemen in between. Every time we did this last season, our run defense suddenly, instantly got better. Look at the 5 offensive linemen. Are they climbing to the second level? Hell no, because they can't. They can't. Now look, Shamar James takes on the fullback. Boom. The running back reads that. He's not going to stay in that gap because Shamar James clogged it. So guess where he has to run? To the grass, where Kenneth Murray is to make a tackle. If he was able to do this all last year, y'all would have said he was pretty good, but he wasn't able to do it. Why? Because they was asking him to deal with this. Did you see how fast they got off the ball right here? Watch this shit. Watch this next play. That's what it looks like when you do it right. This is what it looks like when you run at these guys out of nickel. So you see now it's only 4 down linemen, right? But how many people are at the line of scrimmage for the offense? They got numbers. We don't have them. We don't got size or numbers. Boom. Look at how fast they got off the ball. They don't have, those linebackers don't have a goddamn chance. Ain't no way. Boom. Boom. Dead. Do you see that car accident? Look at the car accident. It's called number 50. On this play, they kept on coming at Kenneth Murray too, right? They're like, Kenneth Murray sucks. Like, listen, the scheme is ass. Boom. But look at what happened to Shamar James. God damn. Shamar looked like it was like the Matrix, like somebody blew him up. This is what blown up looked like. Man, god damn, buddy. Touchdown. Touchdown. And we blamed Kenneth Murray for that. But that was the scheme. The scheme's trash. Look at this. We had a 4 down line. All right, we'll see. Let's see. Mozzie got walled off. Osa's chasing this from the back. Now, Elam is right here on 19. Elam needs to make a play here, but let's look at the linebackers first before we get to that. Watch this. Look at the linebackers. Watch Kenneth Murray and Shamar James. Now, that's why when I said in the beginning of the draft, before I started looking at Marcus Dixon, I was remembering these types of plays. So I said, okay, if this is what our linebackers struggle with, we need linebackers that can deal with this by themselves, right? That don't get washed out when someone gets to the second level. But Marcus Dixon's defenses, I'm going to show you the difference, right? I'm going to show you the difference. Let me remove that. Let's add, let me find some Bullard film real quick. So it's not about what I want. It's about what these guys are putting on film and what Marcus Dixon and I think Brandon T. Jordan, what they afford us, what they allow us to do. And this is, let me show you. Next, linebackers run free. Linebackers run free, buddy. Now watch this. Now this, like I said, this is Eric Wilson. But these are Marcus Dixon fronts. Look pretty similar to what we were doing when it was looking good for us, right? Pretty similar. Watch this. Watch the chaos up front. Blake Cashman already running free. That tight end, oh no, that tackle blows him up. Eric Wilson blows that tight end up, makes the tackle. Right in the gap. We look a lot more violent because we're attacking the line of scrimmage. Look at the line of scrimmage right now. Right, they come out in a jumbo set. Guess what? We bring 4 linemen here, and then 2 outside linebackers, and then 2 middle linebackers. You know what I'm saying? Look at this, like a bear front. Now that entire offensive line got to deal with us. We ain't dealing with them. They ain't fired off nowhere. Still ain't fired off nowhere. Still ain't fired off nowhere. They got their hands full though. You know what I'm saying? They got their hands full. That's what I mean. These types of schemes say, okay, well, I don't need necessarily, I would want a guy that can shed blocks, but I can teach him how to do that. And he doesn't have to be the greatest at it, but he has to be able to do it. I don't need a guy that can do that all day in this scheme because look at Eric Wilson just running free to the ball. You got a lot of guys that can do that in this league. Now, if you can do it at high speeds, at high rates of speed, you're going to be effective, as you can see here. Boom, we're only dealing with running backs because everybody else has to deal with you. And that's on pass plays or run plays. It doesn't matter. Watch this. Keep watching. And this all taken from the same game. It's not like I went to multiple games to find this stuff. So it's not. This all same game. This is how much effect it had. This scheme had on one game. Let's show him in coverage. I don't need to do all that. I'm gonna show the run. Look at the line of scrimmage again. 4 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers. You ain't running nowhere. Then Blake Cashman behind that. These fronts allow you to use smaller guys. They're like, Harold Perkins can't shed blocks. Do we have to in this game? No. Now, of course, you don't want him as your starting middle linebacker, but he can play here. He can play here now. I saw all this. Y'all saw all this. I think I sped this up for you. Boom. And Seattle not even bothering to run the ball because they know like these fronts are not the fronts you want to run against. So it discourages run. Yeah, it discourages it. Boom. Look at this sideline to sideline. That's right there. Boom. That's why I said, oh, what do they need to run this defense? Sideline to sideline linebackers. You know what I'm saying? These are not things that I made up because I told you Sonny Styles and Hill Jr. were not my favorite linebackers. Jacob Rodriguez, Trotter, and C.J. Allen were until I started watching this. And y'all will hear live watching it, so y'all know where I came up with that and why. It wasn't about what I wanted. It was about what I know they're going to do based off of what this film tells you. Boom. That's why I said, okay, those are the type of plays that Hill Jr. is making in college right now. The type of plays that DeMarion Overshawn makes. You know what I mean? They get to run free and make plays on the ball. I think I've made my point several times when it comes to that. But, you know, for those who don't understand, I try to prove everything with the film. So my bad if that went a little long-winded. Okoye considering both Shotty and Parker are new. Where do you believe the pressure for drafting this year is heavier? I think it's heavy on Jerry and Will McClay because Jerry's the GM and Will McClay is like the DM, right? They need to get Shotty and Parker tools that they can use. So I think that's where the pressure really is. I don't think anybody's looking at Parker saying, you know, you're going to draft. Well, he never drafted before. If he could tell you what he wants, go get it. You know, if I tell you a profile of a player that I like, go find it for me if you can. And if you can't, I need to make do with what you give me, right? But go find it for me. Obviously, to me to say that there's pressure in the draft, it's hard to say because at the same time, for me, pressure is all about your scouting team. It's not about your coaches because your coaches ain't drafting, right? They might say, they're getting information that you're giving them, right? That's why I was glad that they went to the scouting combine and the pro days and the Senior Bowl and all that because they get to see at least firsthand what they want versus having just a data sheet. Because if you're a coach and you're busy in the offseason designing plays and trying to reverse engineer yourself and scout yourself and you're not going to these meetings, then when you get a profile, you're just doing what I was doing initially. I don't know these kids. They don't watch college football. They're like, well, who are these guys? All right, well, I like the tall guy. Give me this guy. He's 6'5". His hands are big as shit. He's fast. Let me get that guy. And you're like, oh, well, why'd you turn down this? You know what I mean? But you don't. He doesn't know who these players are. He hasn't met them. You know, hasn't sat with them. That's important. So, but I still think that the scouts are the ones who are out there doing the work. And the better your scouting team, the less pressure there is on the coach. But I do think the coach should meet the players, like on the 30 visits, things like that. They should meet the players so they can get an understanding for who these names are on the pages. But no, I think when you look at drafting, it's not just the coaches. You got other teams that have needs too. So you might have the best draft board ever. But what happens when players don't fall to you because other teams value them more or less, right? Now you just changed everything. And if you have just data and your guys are gone, now you're going off of what other scouts have said or highlights or traits and measurables. That's hard to do. It's hard to do. So I don't think it's that much pressure on Parker because nobody thinks Parker is doing that. But I do like the fact that Parker and Shotty were at most of those pro days. So they're as educated as they can be. So I don't think there's pressure because they've done the work. When you do the work, you don't feel a lot of pressure, man. Like when you know you're dangerous, you don't be like, hope that guy. You be hoping nothing happen because you don't want to do nothing to nobody. But when you know you're dangerous and you did the work, I sparred this week. Like, so if you punch me in my face, I'm not like terrified. You know what I'm saying? If you know you've done that, you're not terrified. But if you never rolled before, you never sparred, you never shot a gun, you never whatever it is that you're doing, never did it, you're gonna be nervous. There's pressure on you because you don't know what the outcome is, and your mind is always gonna be way more dangerous than what is actually happening. But they've done the work. I think if they see the guys that they like, they know what they like and don't like about most of the players that they come across. And I think they'll make wise decisions when those things happen. But it won't always be the guys that we want, or not even the guys that they necessarily want, because somebody else might want them too. You know what I mean? And it's the choosing. They be choosing. You know what I'm saying? So if they choosing, they don't choose. You know, somebody choose before you. That's it. Not after Micah fell asleep on that table, comfortable at that. I didn't even remember he did that. I only trade. I remember he did it, but I didn't watch it. I only trade up for downs. I'm okay with Mesidor at 12 and Hood at 20. I wouldn't trade up for downs. I'm gonna say that now. I would have, but I said if you did trade up and you grabbed them, I'm not mad if Downs on this team. Don't get me wrong, but Downs ain't that much better than Thiemann. Thiemann ain't that much better than Emmanuel McNeil Warren. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are good. And then when I started watching the boy Jalen Kilgore, he good as fuck too. So I'm like, yo, you got 4, maybe 5 safeties that I really like. And then if you really look at Kyle Lewis as a safety, if you're going to look at Kyle Lewis as a safety, a guy that's 6'1", 220, if you say, all right, we need you to lose 5, you know, we want you a little leaner so you can get twitchier, 215. You got linebacker skills, some linebacker skills, but you got safety skills too. And I can use you in the nickel as a big nickel. I can use you in the dollar defense as a big nickel. You know what I'm saying? Harold Perkins too, one of those guys. I look at him as a kind of a safety nickel or safety DB type of guy that has linebacker background, but he's a safety. So is Lewis. Even if they call him a linebacker in the league, he's a safety, right? When you look at those guys and say, all right, I can find plenty of safeties that can give me help in different ways. Maybe not Caleb Downs' way, but give me different help in different ways in this draft. And if I could say that, why the hell would I jump up and spend so much stock on Caleb Downs? Now, if he falls to me at 12 and I decide to stay at 12, cool. If he don't, leave him alone. Leave him alone, in my opinion. But if it happens, like I said, if he's on the team, I'm not going to be pissed. All right. Not a given that teams want to move up. Trading back and being known as sellers might cost us some value in the trade. Why would it cost us value in the trade? If you're known as a seller, if the only reason that you're trading back is because another team wants to trade up. So you're not trading back because you want to trade back. You're trading back because other teams want to trade up. So if they want to trade up and you're willing to play ball, you have the leverage because if they're buying, you know, if they're saying, hey, we got a player we want to get or we got a position we want to get, cool. And if you're a seller as well, I don't care if you're looked at as, you know, the desperate party, right? You know what I mean? The one who made the first move. Don't really matter. Not because it's, you know, strengthens you in any way. Not even that. It's because at the end of the day, if I'm trading my 12 for a 20 in a second, or a 20 and a, you know, 22 and a third, or a 30 and a 39, or 30 and a 40, you get what I'm saying? There's still value there. They're going to evaluate the value of the deal itself. You know what I'm saying? It's not just who's desperate in the situation. I did a deal, and I'll wrap on this too. I'm going to say whatever I got to say to everybody else in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat that's giving me super chats and doing their thing. I'm actually going to read this next super chat too. My bad. I'll get to it. That's Dada Yoda and Angie. I'll read y'all super chats in a second too. But I did a deal with Gillian Watlow, right? And I knew people who knew them. And I said, all right, I can reach out through the people that I know, that know them, that, you know, my folks. But if I do that, they're going to look at me like I'm just a guy that might not know business and might be trying to look for a hookup. So instead of doing that, I just wrote them a business proposal. And they called me back based off the merit of the proposal, not a relationship. So they'll value this trade based off the merit of the trade. Like the value that's in the trade is what's going to make them move, not, not always anyway, but most of the time, it's not going to be just the perception. You know what I mean? Oh, they weak, so we're not gonna trade with them. Nah, is it valuable? What I'm giving you? Yeah. Dada Yoda said, Okoye, what's your plan for draft? Will you go live? Draft day. Well, the first day of the draft. Well, actually, the entire draft, I will not be live. I won't even be around. We are fighting in Virginia on the 25th, which is Saturday. Draft start on Thursday. We're gonna be traveling to Virginia Thursday to get into the hotel. You're gonna make weight by Friday. You're gonna fight Saturday. So every day of the draft, I'm gonna be doing something for the fight. So shout out to Hakeem Harmon. We fighting. Who the fuck are we fighting? Got name? I don't know his name. I don't never really care. Like, look, we just gonna beat somebody ass, but we will be fighting. Hold on, let me see Tanner. Who we fighting? Tanner. I'm gonna tell you in a second. His name is Cameron Kane. We fighting Cameron Kane on Saturday. Okoye, I know you're talking about the defense, but in the near future, could you show film on Blue, the little he had last season? For sure. Just because you asked, Angie, for you, I got you. No problem. I will. I actually had some Blue film already up, but I watched some of his Denver footage. I like his vision. His vision is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, but hold the ball and do your thing. I think he needs to be more mature. I don't like him as his maturity level. Damn, I left some food in the car. Okoye, what should we do with Pickens? Keep him, sign him. Try to get rid of David Mugaleta, who I think is not the smartest agent out there. I think David Mugaleta is hurting the players. He said, Okoye, what you drinking, man? I'm not drunk, but I drink Moscow Mules. Sometimes I drink like ginger. Oh, right here, you talking about this? This is just ginger beer. Yeah, this is ginger beer. That's like soda, like Jamaican soda. But when I go to drink, I drink Moscow Mules or I drink Hennessy, Grand Marnier, and pineapple juice. Yeah. Been lurking for a minute. Gotta show love for all this content. It's appreciated, brother. Appreciate you too. You look like my ex brother-in-law, J. George. Said Koya with the glasses. Where are the glasses? That don't make me put these nut ass Jones on. Nothing against people who wear glasses. I don't like glasses though, man. They fly. I think these Jones kind of cool, but I just don't like glasses, man. I can see much better though. Plus, the glare. So the reason I don't wear my glasses for real is this. You see how the glare is all on my face? I don't like that. So I take them off unless I really need to read because I gotta hold my head down, and this is just annoying. So I just don't like it. I mean, he's quitting. I'm sure the chat looks like ants to him. No, they don't. I just, what's crazy? I can read everything you're saying right now. Like, look, it says, but I just squint out of just habit because I can see. I just don't know why I do it. I mean, if I can't see, I like this chat right now. Let's see. Well deserved, Okoye. We all see the work, brother. That's Reezy. Darkness, I can see. I'm not squinting right now. Angie, she just said, I mean, the brother squinting. Just Blaze said, if the Cowboys stay put, don't trade either 12 or 20, who would you like to see them pick up? I can see it. I don't know why I squint. I just do it. But crazy. I don't know. Weird. Maybe I need to go to a doctor, But no, who would I pick at 12 and 20 if we stay put? It depends on who slides to us. But let's say in the perfect world, I don't just look at the players. So that's what you got to stay away from, right? Don't just look at the players available. Look at the rooms that they're going into as well and what you need in those rooms. We're stronger at outside linebacker and defensive tackle than we are at linebacker and corner. So if I'm looking at 12 and 20 and I want players that can start right now, I'm looking for, and then when I say, then you look at the draft, it's like, okay, we're deep at linebacker. I can get one late that's able to start right now. So do I go and jump up and get a first round linebacker? Not necessarily, right? But if I know I'm not picking until pick 92, all the linebackers that I like would probably be gone, like Jacob Rodriguez, Hill Jr., and Josiah Trotter. Those guys will probably be gone. You know what I'm saying? CJ Allen, they're gone. So it'll make you desperate at linebacker at pick 20, right? Which is probably why they're talking about the Sonny Styles thing, right? If you look at 12 as a, I would say safety, if Downs falls there, you can get you a dynamic safety. So you want somebody you want a DB that is dynamic one way or the other. We need help there. We got a good DB room, but it can get great if you put a playmaker in there, right? We got a good safety room, but you might be able to move Hooker if you go get you a great safety. Like you got Caleb Downs, why you keep Hooker on this team? You can let PJ Locke play. You're gonna let Jalen Thompson play, and you're gonna get rid of Hooker because what you need him for if you go get Caleb Downs or Thieneman, or if you got Kyle Lewis on his team and a Thieneman or somebody like that. Not saying you go 20 with Kyle Lewis, but I'm just saying if those two guys are on the team, they should all be in the safety room. Why the hell would I keep Hooker? Now you got trade bait there or cut bait, whatever you want to do, right? But anyway, you look at what you have and you look at what's there. I think that at 12 you want the premium positions that you can't get late, which would be pass rusher. So if someone like Mesidor is there at 20, I would take Mesidor. If I'm taking him at 20, I'm looking for Thieneman or Downs at 12. Those would be my first two picks. And then I'm trying my best to get into the second or third round somehow. If I can't do that, then at 92, I'm looking for the best linebacker available. Or you would have to do what Lando says. You would have to go trade for a linebacker post draft or trade during the draft for Brooks or something like that. You would have to because you need a linebacker. So like I said, I just don't see the Cowboys picking where they're at right now. I don't, because there's too much value in them moving back. Like if they move back, they get everything they want. If they don't, they gotta like pick and choose at 12 and 20, and then they're shopping kind of thirsty and they can't be as aggressive. And I'm saying that because in the mock drafts, I could be more aggressive when I was able to find more value. I'm like, if I miss on this guy here, I can go get more right behind it. I know I got the bullets in the gun. You don't got the bullets in the gun. It's you careful if you're shooting. Like if you're shooting at the werewolf, you got 2 silver bullets, you ain't spraying. But if you got an AR full of silver bullets, you're like, well, if I miss one, I know I'm going to hit him with this next jump. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather have more bullets. That's just me. But good question. You kind of stumped me with that one. I shouldn't be laughing. That's how I accidentally erase your comment, sitting up squinting like Secret Squirrel, and I hit the wrong button. Facts. See, y'all coming at me for squinting. All y'all squinting. Oh, I got a headache. What the hell just happened right here? I was standing on business when I said I was pissed that the coaches allowed Micah to appoint himself a DN. That's a fact. Like that was the dumbest shit ever. That's how you know nobody was running this team. If you're on your phone, you might have to enlarge the font. Maybe I might. Okoye is like it's like we already know. You said it on live the other day. Less critical thinking these days. Jesse and you were right. Facts. Jimbo said, Okoye, you got Rodriguez, Texas Tech linebacker on your thumbnail. He would be a great fit for Dallas. He's not the most athletic, but his ability to diagnose plays makes up for it. He also takes the ball away. Jacob Rodriguez is my favorite linebacker in the draft. I've been saying it since the beginning. And it's because I like the guys that make scouting easy. Like when you go look at a player and you be like, who's number 10? When you ask who a guy is, because they got that it factor. I told you I started watching football again. I stopped watching football consistently after the Cowboys started to decline. I watch it, but I didn't care. I'm not gonna watch it every Sunday, right? At that time. Plus, I was doing shit. I was in college. I was running the streets. I was doing stuff. But when y'all broke Michael Irvin's neck, that broke my heart, right? But what brought me back full steam was our neck breaker. We had Roy Williams, and Roy Williams was one of those guys. I didn't follow him in college, none of that. I just started seeing like 31. I was watching one game. I said, who the fuck is 31? He hurting everybody. And I like violent players. I like Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott cut off his own finger to keep playing football. You know what I'm saying? I like guys that are psychos like that. Greg Lloyd, those types of guys. We had our Greg Lloyd. It was Roy Williams. Roy Williams, Darren Woodson hit hard too. Yeah, he'll knock you out. But Roy Williams want to knock you out. Like he's trying to hurt you. Those horse collars, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Y'all ain't gonna like it. Even when he did it to T.O. in Philly, man, I loved the horse collar tackle because I was like, yo, I mean, I loved it because of how evil it was, but at the same time, I didn't like how debilitating the injuries to like Calico, to Musa Smith. He hurt a lot of people with that. T.O., he was breaking legs with that joint, like messing up the house's money. Yeah, he was killing it with that. I ain't gonna front. But when he was doing it, it was like when it was legal, it was like, God damn, don't let him grab you, dog. It's over for you. I don't know, man. I just was liking that shit. But yeah, I like Jacob Rodriguez. He got the it factor that makes you look at him and ask, like, who is number 10? You didn't have to really, you ain't have to look for him. He stood out. He stood out on his own. Cowboy politics. What up with you, Brody? What up with you? All right. Let me see what we talking about. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, and we about 30 minutes away from the bottom. I mean, 30. I'm about 30 minutes back in the chat. I saw some film today of Keldrick Flock playing nose. Some of these colleges misuse guys like Dallas does. Yeah, Falk could play a little bit of everywhere, but like I said, he's your poor man's Rashawn Gary. You know what I'm saying? He got the same frame. If you were bringing him here and you said we're gonna put him up with Rashawn Gary, have him do Rashawn Gary type things or spell Rashawn Gary, wouldn't be mad at that. Wouldn't be mad at it. But do they want him is the question. Why do you go get another guy like Rashawn Gary when you got Rashawn Gary? Maybe they want another one. Maybe they don't. Maybe they feel like they already got one. So yeah, you might like Keldrick Falk, but if you like him, you already got one that's a Pro Bowler on your team that you just traded for. So you don't need him, but you can go get him. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. I don't think he's a bad player though. What if we trade down a few spots at 13 and draft Colton Hood and Jacob Rodriguez? Like both picks. Colton Hood's good. Jacob Rodriguez good. Looking good on the thumbs up. Any on the likes. Anyone want to tap into the Okoye family? Take the leap. You said take the leak. Don't take the leak. Take the leap. See, he's squinting again. See, that's what go easy, kids. See again. He said take the leak. Don't take the leak. You know what I mean? Take the leap. The coaching staff in Big D is legit. It's underrated how important it is to develop an athlete. Man, one of my guys, like the guy that's fighting on Saturday, Hakeem, he was not a boxer. I just like how dedicated he was to boxing. When he was 18, he first turned 18, he took like all the money he had. This is how, like, in order to be great, you gotta be delusional. You know what I'm saying? Delusional people are great, can be great. And I think he was crazy. He went to a Shaolin temple in New York and sat outside like Doctor Strange, trying to get admitted to the Shaolin temple when he's 18. I said, "You did that?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, you really want to fight?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I started teaching him boxing on the tennis court. I wasn't a trainer at the time. I just could box. So I started teaching him boxing on the tennis court. And I just wanted to see, are you crazy enough to do what I'm asking you to do? And he was. And it was a drill I had him do. It was just a trust drill. I'm going to show y'all the drill real quick. This is how development is, in my mind, right? I'm going to show you something real quick, if I can. Let me go to Instagram real quick, pull it up. Let me show you something. This dude is crazy. We all do it, but it's just like I do what he does, but it's just like I wanted to see if he would try to do it, and he did. I was like, "Yo, jump over this tennis net. You can't run and jump. You gotta do it off the vertical. If you trip, you're gonna bust your face, right?" And he anything I've to this day, and that was like 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, right? To this day, he's still like that. He will do anything I ask him to do. If I say run through a brick wall, if I say it, he believes he can do it, and he gonna go try it. And he's dead serious. He will do it. Hold on a second. And I'm the same way. Like I'll try whatever. If you tell me something's gonna make me 1% better, I'm gonna try to do it. Hold on a second. I had to go back a little bit because it's an old one. Here we go. Watch this. All right. Share screen. Instagram. This is a trust drill. So this the tennis court. When I say we started on the tennis court, hold on. It wasn't boom. You see that shit? I say, yo, jump over this tennis court.
down, give me food.
Go back again.
I never let the person that's knocking me down give
Off
me
the work.
food, religion, or
I get it
anything.
too.
I'm
I
not
get
listening to
40
nothing you
doing
say
it at the
because it's
time.
only to
I had
control
him
me.
do it. He like one.
I'm aware of that.
He like one.
I think we all are,
like one.
but everybody's pussy.
But everything I ask him,
That's the problem.
He gets busy.
Fear is implemented. It's a program to stop us from making our dreams come true.
See it first off.
And most of the things we're scared of never happen
Do get busy, but
until you think about it so much that you manifest it.
Development. And
you know, when you're sitting around thinking about
the level that he at right now, took years and patience. And you have to like see what a guy can do. Like you have to see the big paws on the pup, so to speak, and really consistently work with him to get him there. And I'm willing to do that. So coaching is definitely very important. Very important. Looking at this film, Parker probably really believes Morris will thrive at edge in his system. He believes, again, everybody's like, oh, Morris is about to get cut. He might, because the money is really in that room. And it's going to tell you in the draft how serious they are. Because if they jump very early at pass rusher super early, and then they go and they double back and do it again, Morris is probably not going to survive that room. If they grab one that's just a pure pass rusher, but they don't double back, then that means they know Morris to somebody they considering using. But it's not just Morris's ability that's going to make or break him. It's going to be whether or not they believe that he can do it, because they got to put him on the field to do it. And he's in a room now where there's money. You know what I mean? So the money plays here. So that's going to be a problem. Ezeraku and Sam Williams and Gary are going to play over Morris. And then if you get a rookie in here that's a bona fide rusher, like if you got Bain here, you got Mesidor here, Morris not going to play that much on the outside. So then his best bet is to try to get some tick in middle linebacker again. But we probably going to go draft one of those and trade for another. Now you number 3 in that room too. Where does that leave Morris? Now, me personally, I think Morris can do it. There's injuries, there's training camp, there's preseason. He got his shot, but it's an uphill battle for Morris. I'm not gonna lie. I think that if he does get on the field though and he's able to play, or if CP just really likes him for some reason, it's gonna be good for us. His scheme did not fit with the players we had. Simple as that. A good coach coaches to his players' strengths, not a certain scheme. Some who can do this, do that is what I call a good coach. Yep, someone who can do that is a good coach. What's up, Paul? Kenneth Murray made a ton of plays last year. The scheme was trash for the most part of the year. Yep, but nobody gonna say that. If you say that too loud, they'll call you crazy, because everybody jumps on the bandwagons and then you got to get in front of it to stop it. And it's like I've been doing that for so long that people think that I'm like in love with the player. It's not that. It's just like I'm not gonna lie on you or for you. You know what I mean? You can force your scheme onto. I mean, you can't force your scheme if you don't have the players to run it. Yep. You just said that. I just read that. Boom. All right. Let me see. Okoye, what's your take on the secondary as a whole? Saw your Rebel film. Secondary as a whole right now is solid. Are they great? No. They need playmakers. And they have the injury bug, which I'm concerned about, like Bland, Revel, injury bug. I mean, they need to get healthy. But I like, if Revel can do what he did on film, meaning he could be a press man eraser, he's great in press man. You would have to play cover 6 probably and allow him to play man in that cover 6 and to hide his deficiencies, because he's not a great zone. He wasn't a great zone corner last year. But if you allow him to press, Revel will get you out. He disrupt you. I saw him just throw motherfucking Smitty out of bounds a couple times. Like he wasn't even in the play. It looked like Smitty was a gunner on special teams, and he pushed him out of bounds. He was trying to get back in bounds. I'm like, damn, you don't see people press that well. He can press very well. That's A+ in his press game. He didn't miss any. Like no one completed a pass against Revel last year. That's what people are not talking about. This is why Christian Parker likes him. Even with the injuries, nobody completed one pass against this man while he was in press man. Go find the film. I watched every snap. I can tell you the plays where he got completed on is when he's in zone. He was lost in zone. And when he's playing off man, he doesn't drive. He didn't drive on the ball very well and change directions. So he was bad in space. And he was bad in zone, which is space as well. But Press man, they ain't do shit. Nobody did shit against him. The one play they almost had him was when he fell against the Lions, and that was an incompletion. But nobody completed a pass against him in press man. Not one. That's hard to do. So I thought that was impressive. I did like that. I didn't watch the Washington game at the end of the season. Maybe they did in that game. I didn't watch that one. But every other game, no, nobody. On Sadiq in the draft, Sadiq was at the tight end. That's the tight end boy. That's super fast. Is that who you talking about? I don't know. Like I said, names, you got to tell me teams and numbers. I don't know. I believe our new defensive coordinator. I believe our new defensive coordinator has the players to run the scheme he wants. We do need corners and safeties, but I don't want the second. I don't know what his secondary would look like. He was the Eagles secondary coach. Yeah, exactly right. Reported that Trotter had an MCL tear. Man, motherfucking mosquito, man, trying to get me. Get out of here. Reported that Trotter had an MCL tear at MVU, which had surgery on his MCL before the pre-draft period. No agility drills reported at the combine nor pro day. Allen struggled during pro day after surgery too. Yeah, both of those guys, if Trotter and CJ Allen had surgery, it's good that they had surgery to prepare for the season so they can be healed by the season start. But I don't want an injured player. That puts Jacob Rodriguez right where I want him. Love your content, brother. You give me some hope that Jerry and Steven won't mess this up like they've done before. They finally learning, man. They really are, and they are good businessmen. Like when I look at the business moves that they make, especially when it comes. The problem they had was trusting their guys too much in the past, and it wasn't a bad thing. We just didn't have their guys developed. In order to develop your guys, you need other guys to come in. Sometimes, like you might want to bring in, a coach or a player that can be a player's coach to train your guys in the ways of the land, right? We've been doing that somewhat, but they don't stay here long enough for you to create a culture. It's like we have a mercenary culture. So it's like if you have an army where you got guys who are willing to go to battle, but the only people who really have the experience are the mercenaries who are coming through, and they have no allegiance to you, right? They call it sell swords, right? So when you have that happening, you don't really build anything because easy come, easy go. And then as those guys go through, both the coaches and the players that are mercenaries that are coming through, they leave with their philosophy and their culture. And now you don't have anything established. So now you establish a new culture. So it's like, cultureless people when you have a team that's like that and you're whimsical, you're blown with the ways of the wind because there's nothing no flag that you put in the ground that establishes that you are going to play this way. Like Pittsburgh, they're playing the way they play. Dick LeBeau ain't even there anymore. We playing zone, blitzing 3-4. That's what we do. That's what we're going to do. We ain't stopping. Baltimore has a style of play too. They ain't stopping. 49ers now have a style of play that attack front 3 or 4-3. That's how they going to play. The Jets use that same scheme. That's how they going to play. That's it. They're not changing it. So anybody who comes there, they know I need a player, but like I need to play in this type of scheme because this is what I'm going to be good at. You know what I'm saying? These are my strengths. All right. I'm down to the bottom, and I'm done with the chat. Let me see. There's one last joint. How do you feel about Tyler Smith possibly going to left tackle? If Tyler Smith goes to left tackle, what does that say about Guyton? I think Guyton was improving his footwork last year, and I think you give him another year to get better. Like I said, you can't develop guys if you keep putting progress stoppers in their way. And unfortunately, the way you develop guys is by letting them play. So you got to let Guyton get his reps in if you want him to be good. Otherwise, you're calling the guy a bust after 2 years, and that's what I'm saying. We want microwave success. He has to develop. They don't develop overnight. And I think he got hurt the first year, right? So, but they don't develop overnight. They don't. I really believe Jerry is going in because he's truly thinking about his mortality. Yep, you're right, Reezy. That's for sure. You know what I mean? I'm only 43. Why do you think I'm doing this? I said, listen, when I leave this earth, I'm going to leave someday. I hope ain't no time soon. Like I'm gonna do some stem cells. I'm gonna do some NAD. Matter of fact, I think I got my NAD patch on. Shout out to I think it's called Kind. They got these little patches, right? They're like NAD is like a precursor for NNM, and they're like stem cell stimulators or anti-aging type of aids, right? So, like I said, I'm going to do stem cells, whatever I got to do to try to stay younger, right? NAD, IV drips, whatever I need to do, right, to try to last longer. But I'm eventually gonna die, and when I do, when I met Wallo and we sat there and we talked, he said, we were talking. We was talking to an artist, this artist that he had, and the bull said, what advice would you give? Or he said something about life, right? And I just said, I want to leave this earth empty. When I say that, I mean when most of the people, especially some of the older people that are in our buildings, I've had clients that pass away. I've unfortunately been around a lot of people who passed away, but the things that I think most people regret are the things that they didn't do. The things they feel like that's what haunts them. So the things that they feel like they should have accomplished, they didn't accomplish. But when I leave, I'm gonna be chilling. I've been in life and death situations. Even right now, if I die, I haven't accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish yet. But I haven't not been trying to. I've been on the path of accomplishing those things. I do everything I want to do right now. I don't do shit I don't want to do. So if something were to happen and I stopped on this journey, I'm not leaving here mad. I'm empty. So when you leave here empty. I think Jerry feel the same way. Leave here empty. Throw all your cards on the table. Do what you got to do, because we all got to go. But how are you going? Are you going with a bunch of guns or bullets in the clip, or are you leaving here empty? Shoot them all, because you ain't taking them with you, and they don't make no bump bed caskets, man. So do what you got to do while you're here. That's how I think, and that's how I think Jerry's on. Don't do that on Revel. He wasn't ready. Was swimming in info and indecisiveness. CP was impressed with Revel during the draft process. Let's see how it works. Yeah, they were coming at Revel, but I'm not. I ain't coming at him. I look at Revel as a guy that's like I said, he didn't give up no passes and impress man. So I'm not mad at him. Okoye say, give me some of that science off the shelf. It's hard to tell our age anyway. Facts. Terrell, I don't disagree. He said, Reezy, Guyton keep getting hurt. We need one. I mean, I guess we can end on that note. You're probably right. But let me get up out of here, man. I'm tired now. Got to go. Love y'all. I'm out. Peace. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe button, and join the goddamn channel. Stop playing. Peace.